Well, folks, we're headed for a major showdown here, folks, because Biden has just said that the Republicans' demands are unacceptable with the debt default, and that could crash the U.S. markets and economy. What do you think will happen next? It's getting pretty wild, folks, because Biden says he might use the 14th Amendment to resolve the debt crisis. And that's pretty crazy, folks. Do you know what happens? So yes, we were all thinking the debt limit is going to be lifted quite easily inside the United States because they are negotiating and things are going smoothly. And that's why stock market and Wall Street rallied hard on the weekend, or on Friday. But however, on Sunday, Biden just came out and says they're nowhere near reaching an agreement and that the Republicans have extreme demands. Remember how before they thought this was never going to happen? So they came up with some really crazy, wild, stupid ideas, like they're going to print a $1 trillion coin, a single coin, platinum, that's going to be worth $1 trillion with a face value. And they're going to give that to the Federal Reserve and use that gimmick, little trick, to pay for all of America's entire debt problem. That was like the 18th Amendment. Now they're talking about using the 14th Amendment, which is also crazy. See, the 14th Amendment is just some old quaint law from 200 years ago that basically says, right, the validity of the public debt authorized by law shall not be questioned. What does that mean? So according to that interpretation, any single party which basically says, hey, you know, we're in charge, we don't need the Republicans or the Democrats to agree with us, we don't need a vote in the Senate or the Congress because the 14th Amendment told us that you cannot default on U.S. debt. It will always be honored. If that's the case, folks, then why did the U.S. ever have to negotiate and vote on lifting the debt ceiling all that time? Because you know how many times the United States has lifted its debt ceiling in the last 60-70 years? It's done so 74 times. Was that all for nothing? Because other parts of the Constitution basically says that it is the Congress that has power of the purse, right? Which means the Congress has got to keep a check on how the government or the United States president is free-willing spending that money. These two parts of the Congress of the Constitution are self-conflicting, right? They say different things. And we all know what happens if you have two parties taking major actions which disagree on the interpretation of the Constitution. Then this could, folks, in a few years lead to civil war because they argue and they disagree so much with the basis, the very basic foundation of the Constitution. Now, on a lighter front, what will happen is it'll likely cause the markets to panic and to freak out in the days leading up to the